Are you going to be ready when disaster strikes? I got to tell you, I see a lot of things in the news, and I see some of these areas in the country that you had the LA fires, you had the fires in Hawaii, you had the North Carolina tornadoes, you had the stuff in Florida that goes on all the time. You had the ice storm in Texas. There's so many things that can happen natural. And then there's also man-made ones that we haven't thought about yet. Well, we think about them. God forbid some of them haven't happened, but there's a lot of things you need to think about and really some steps that you need to take. Now, RxHealthyHabits are always trying to find ways to keep you healthy. And this is one area I think there's a blind spot for a lot of people. So I'm going to go through and just do a quick flyover, not a deep dive. Eventually, I'd like to do a series on this where we can talk about some of the things you need to do a little bit more in detail. But right now, I want to talk about 5 steps. 5 steps to protect your health in times of disaster. And the big question is, are you ready? Number 1, have you created an emergency action plan? Have you sat down with your family, had a meeting, go over things, and talked about getting everybody on the same page and say, look, in case if something happens, if we have to meet, we're going to meet here. We're going to have our go bag ready. A go bag is a bag that's ready if you have to leave or bug out, if you have to leave suddenly, especially. And sometimes you don't get a lot of warning. Is there something ready for that? Do you practice this plan on a regular basis? You know what to do. First step is we get in touch with each other. Second step is we meet here. So that's very important. Number 2, stocking up on essential items. Now, again, all this is going to be in my blog, and some of the people that I reference in the blog at the bottom have great detail on this. So I'm just giving you a quick overview to get you thinking about why it's important to, number 2, stock up on essential items. Disaster supply for non-perishable food, water, and essential for at least 3 days if you have to leave. Now, a little bit tough to carry that much if you have a big family. But thinking about having some type of disaster kit, flashlights, rechargeable hand crank radios, so you can stay in touch. Nutrient-rich foods, peanuts, things that are very dense but don't require refrigeration. And chargers, batteries, anything you can do to keep going, whether it be solar, hand crank, anything, so you can have power to charge up some of those things. That's an essential supply. Medications, as a pharmacist, please make sure you have like a little bit extra on hand, so that you can go maybe several days after your prescription would have ran out because you have a little bit of a stockpile. Now, I'm not saying stockpile a lot of medications because you got to rotate them. You should have more than just a few days supply when you go to get your refills. You should always keep, I think, a couple of weeks on hand ahead. That's my suggestion. In some emergency situations, you can refill your prescriptions. If they were lost during floods, they let you do it ahead of time. During COVID, there was all kinds of things. But manage your medications. Make sure if you're on medications that are life-preserving medications that you can't go without, that you have a little bit extra always on those. Number 4, power during outages. Especially if the grid goes down because of natural man-made disaster, you got to have some backup options. So you need to start thinking about having some of those. And some of those might be kind of like out of your range right now, affordability. But there's some cheaper options coming out right now that can do some things to charge up at least your phones. And you're going to have some things like your radio with some solar powered devices right now. There's also some, fuel generated capabilities out there. Don't forget your car. Your car is a great source to charge up some of your devices like cell phones and radios too. And most of the ones now that they make for the radios also have hand crank capabilities, which are kind of neat. And some have a hybrid of that and solar. So cool. So much out there that you have some power during outages, but also a way that you can keep some of your devices for communication going, because number 5 is based on that. That says stay informed and connected. And the way you're going to do that is by having devices that you can communicate with, whether it be by radio. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has a weather channel that they broadcast, but also I think there's other emergency channels you need to find out about that are available in case of emergency that you can listen to, and you need to find out where they are. So stay informed, stay connected. Communication plans, again, can you communicate without cell towers with some of your family? Is that something to think about? I think it is. Final takeaway, real quick. A lot of detail in my blog on this, but this is just a flyover, again, just to talk about 5 areas you need to think about. But I tell you, a lot of people don't give this enough credence, and I believe in today's day and age, you're a fool, like I was, for really not doing enough to be at least minimally prepared. Maybe not excessive, compulsive, crazy, over the top, but minimally prepared. I'm going to be a little bit more than that. I'm going to go moderate and maybe a little bit more, just because I want to make sure my family's safe. All right. So hope that helps. Stay tuned to some more videos on this, because we're going to do a series. And God bless. Be safe.